This video is brought to you in association with Fast and Loose, the Formula 1 post show by AMP. Honda has agreed a deal to strengthen its ties to the two Red Bull Formula 1 teams less than 12 months since it technically quit the championship. Nobody's really noticed Honda's absence since the end of the 2021 season because for most people watching, Honda's not really left. The engines Honda designed are still in the Red Bulls and the AlphaTauris, and they are even still being built and maintained in Japan. And as of the 2022 Japanese Grand Prix, Honda's actually stepping up its Red Bull deal again. Amid increasing expectation that Honda will agree to be part of the 2026 engine regulations with Red Bull once more, it's perfectly valid if you're hearing this and thinking, what the hell is Honda playing at? Since officially leaving F1 at the end of 2021, Honda has effectively been a contractor for Red Bull. It receives no real credit for designing, developing, assembling and repairing the engines. In fact, Honda's only recognition this year in what is set to be a dominant Red Bull victory in both championships is a small HRC sticker at the back of the engine cover. At least from the Japanese Grand Prix though, Honda will get a bit more credit, but we stress it's only a bit more. From the Suzuka weekend, Red Bull and AlphaTauri will run with a Honda Racing Corporation logo on the nose cone instead of the engine cover. This is to make room for the return of the classic Honda name logo, which hasn't been seen on an F1 car since the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's effectively a fast-tracked version of the revised branding deal we were expecting to happen for 2023, and it will probably run until the end of 2025, which is when the current Red Bull Honda arrangement is meant to finish. It should give Honda more prominence again and may also come to serve as a soft re-entry to F1 before a brand new project for 2026, which we've covered before and will come to again shortly. What we want to focus on now is frankly how baffling this looks for Honda. In October 2020 it announced it would quit F1, in December 2021 it officially left, and in October 2022 it's done a deal to put its stickers back on the cars using its engine. This is basically one step closer to Honda never actually leaving F1 at all. Honda has stepped back, that much is certain. It might not be that obvious on the outside, but the number of Honda people in the paddock is vastly reduced, there's no corporate hospitality, and only the core embedded personnel within the teams on the engineering side remain. There will also be a different kind of commercial arrangement underpinning the investment required to build and maintain the engines. Red Bull is footing the bill in some way, at least more than it did previously. But however Honda might want to justify its exit, the decision made in 2020 looks more stupid by the minute. A change in CEO in April 2021 with Takahiro Hachigo out and Toshihiro Mibe in might have something to do with the seemingly diametrically opposed attitudes Honda has shown to F1 just a few months apart. Post Hachigo Honda seems to regret two things. First, the decision to walk away in the first place, because it now looks like an increasingly rash, short-sighted move that was done to create an image of slashing costs and insist the company was focused on a future fueled by sustainable technologies. The second thing Honda regrets is the continuation deal it did with Red Bull, whereby Honda gave up everything for no reward and even let its own engine be renamed after Red Bull powertrains. If it didn't regret that, why bother with putting not just an extra sticker on the car, but one that's simply the Honda name? Want more F1 and a few laughs too? Check out Fast and Loose, the Formula 1 post show on AMP, where commentary meets comedy. Chat expert analysis with Mika Hakkinen, share hot takes with Will Arnett, and connect with other fans live after every race. AMP is a new live radio app where top artists, creators and athletes spin their favourite tracks and take your calls in real time. Tune in live immediately following every F1 race, drop comments in chat or call in as Mika, Will and Michelle Beadle are joined by a rotating list of insiders, commentators and drivers. Download the AMP app by clicking the link below and follow at AMP Presents F1 to join the conversation. This rebranding deal and the continued supply of engines to the end of 2025 was expected to be part of the agenda of a high-level meeting between Red Bull and Honda in Tokyo on Tuesday before the Japanese Grand Prix. But if it was surely just a simple rubber stamping. The main details are understood to have been agreed in principle for months. Our expectation is that Tuesday's meeting had bigger things on the agenda. After all, Red Bull's chiefs haven't made the effort to meet their Honda counterparts just to be polite, dot a few I's and cross some T's. Instead, this is thought to have been a significant step in the bid to get Honda to commit to competing in F1 in 2026 after all. Red Bull and Honda's racing division HRC are believed to have had talks about extending their partnership into the next set of engine regulations. F1 will be dropping the complicated MGU-H from the hybrid system but upping the electrical power to around 50% with an improved MGU-K. There will also be a switch to 100% sustainable fuels. HRC is interested in working on the hybrid side of the 2026 power unit, while Red Bull Powertrains, the company that Red Bull set up once Honda decided it would leave F1, would take care of the internal combustion engine. These discussions are believed to have progressed very well, and the terms for how this could work are thought to be provisionally agreed between Red Bull and HRC. But the plan requires board approval, and Tuesday was the first opportunity for Red Bull and HRC to officially make their pitch. It therefore marked a key point in the negotiations. As we piece this video together, we've not had any indication of how well the meeting went, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel if you want to know how the Red Bull Honda story develops from here. There is thought to be some resistance within the Honda board to F1, and for this 2026 proposal to succeed, it depends on the details. How involved HRC wants to be, what financial commitment is required, and how Honda would reconcile such a project when it announced only 2 years ago that it had to abandon F1 to pursue carbon neutral technologies. But there is a belief within Red Bull and HRC that a 2026 F1 project, particularly on the hybrid side, could dovetail nicely with Honda's wider research and development work. It's no coincidence that this has all emerged in the week of the Japanese Grand Prix. Honda was denied a proper farewell to Japanese fans last year by the COVID-19 pandemic, so there's a great deal of emotional significance at this race for Red Bull's teams and drivers. But there's even more at stake in the next few days on track and off it than just sentiment. Max Verstappen could win the 2022 title at Suzuka, and for those of you who are familiar with Honda's flaky F1 history, this will sound like peak Honda, winning the World Championship while invisible at its home race, which Honda's even the sponsor of. That's the goal for Red Bull at least, but there could be a cloud on the horizon too, in the form of the FIA's impending 2021 budget cap compliance review. You may have watched our video on Red Bull being controversially tipped to be one of the 2 teams that the FIA will say committed a breach with its 2021 accounts. If not, check that video out here. The FIA had been preparing to announce the results of its analysis of the team's financial submissions on Wednesday between Singapore and Japan. But all that happened was the FIA saying, sorry, we need a bit longer. In fact, it'll happen on Monday, the day after the Japanese Grand Prix. So if Verstappen adds the 2022 championship to his CV this weekend, it could swiftly be followed by a big controversy, one that might actually make Honda quite relieved it's not officially part of this anymore, at least for the time being. This video is brought to you in association with Fast and Loose, the Formula 1 post show by AMP.